Begin our class. So we have a new month, new theme. We'll start seated and really work a little bit more on the floor today. Not to say we won't get up off the floor, we will. But tapas. So tapas, T-A-P-A-S, tapas, is the art of transformation. It's translation means self-discipline. So when we apply heat, inspiration to something, our will to move forward, then we see a transformation take place in our body, in our mind, in our soul. And in order to upgrade or up-level where we want to be, create betterment, there's always a transformational process. Now you think about that as a seed plants in the earth and it's in the moist ground. There is a process that takes place in order for it to be a tree or to reach its full potential. And the first thing it has to do is get out of that inertia state, slough off the seed and begin its growth process, pushing through the seed as a little small, tiny, weak, bendy plant, and then it has to push through the earth. I mean, that's going to take an incredible amount of effort. And once it pops through the earth, and then it sees the sun, it has all this nourishment. We germinate. This is like we come up with an idea. We germinate it in the ground, and then actually to move it forward, we have to put our mind into matter, and matter is always slower going. So it requires a huge push of inertia to get us going. And once people start to see us, like we see that peaking, then they give us things that help promote that growth. But that initial push, that initial determination, self-discipline to move and progress towards our goal is really up to us. So when I want to foster that energy today of tapas, heat producing to move us forward in life. So you can set your intention that. What do you want to move forward in? Let's just start a lovely breath exercise of opening the heart and then opening the back of the heart. The heart's always open. Is it open forward or is it open back? What are we open to? Inhale, float the arms wide. Exhale, retract. And then again, and retract. And then pause here with open arms. Plug into the earth with Earth Mudra, also called Bu Mudra, B-H-U. So you're making a peace sign, and the thumb, ring, and pinky finger are together. Plug into the earth and push into the earth. So you feel the extension of the spine happening. Inhale, Prana Mudra. So when the fingers aren't touching, we still have that peace fingers, Cub Scout style. The fingers come together and we lift up towards the sky. Exhale, plug into the earth, recharge the battery, and inhale. Spread the prana through the earth and release it down. Plug in, inhale, earth and sky breath. Exhale, back down. So the movement is just simply moving the arms like wings overhead on the breath in, down to the earth and plugging in on the breath out. One more time. And exhale. And then we'll take this in a breath practice that comes overhead, Vastrika. And then we're going to force the air out of the mouth, ha, as you bring the elbows down. We'll take it 12 times, 12 repetitions, 3 sets of that. So begin by bringing the arms overhead. Take a breath in and then exhale. Ha, 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 ha. 6 more, ha, ha, ha. 3 more, 2 more, last one, ha. Bring the arms up, hook the thumbs, exhale all the air out, and then when you breathe in, you're going to hold the breath at the top. Mula Bandha, that's a pelvic floor lock. Continue upward, pushing that energy, life force into the belly, up the spine, and out through the crown of the head. Release the palms together and bring the hands to your heart center. Release the breath, so you're exhaling. We'll do that twice more. And when you're in the Mula Bandha, that pelvic floor lift, it's like a Kegel, so let's explain that really quick. Drawing all of the energy from the muscles that support the base of the pelvis up inward, and then you take the belly up inward, and then you press that energy. Just imagine it shooting up through the shaft of the spine and then out the crown of the head. And if you just crown right here, you'll have a target. Okay, that spout, like a well spout, we're going to push it through, break through the spout of the head, just much like the energy of a seedling has to push through the earth. So take the arms overhead again and begin. Ha, 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 ha. 4 more, ha, ha. 2 more, ha, ha. Bring the arms overhead. Inhale, hook the thumbs and lift the pelvic floor. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Push the energy up through the spine, out through the crown of the head. And exhale, hands to the heart. We'll do that one more time. Lift. Inhale and begin. Ha, 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 ha. 2 more. Ha. Last one. Ha. Exhale the air out. Inhale and hold with bandhas. And release the bandhas and exhale. Bring the hands to your heart. Great, and then the hands interlaced, thumbs up, place them on the heart. So your heartbeat, Vajra Pradama, which is the unshakable trust mudra. Sometimes we need that when we're moving through something. We're trying to alchemically change the neural pathways in the brain and create different thinking, different patterns that help us move forward towards our goals, aspirations. It takes a lot of self-discipline. This mudra can just help you feel like you got this. Unshakable trust in yourself. Where are those times, places, energies where you really do rely on yourself, your higher and best good? And you can say, yeah, I always show up for myself in this way. Maybe it's exercising, maybe it's eating healthy, and maybe those are places where we don't show up and we need some more trust building. And bring the hands to your knees. We'll circumduct, making the space in the hips, waking up the side bodies. Reverse the action. Let's go in the other direction. Inhale forward, exhale back and around. Again. One more. And then let's move back to the first circling. This time, keep your head steady over the hips, your hips pressed into the floor, and only the solar plexus, or from the ribs to the waist moves as much as possible, as big as possible. And then we're going to take it faster. So as big as possible, it's definitely going to be a little bit tighter of a circle because we're going faster. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And breathe in and breathe out and feel the heat. Tapas is also heat producing. When we're really determined with something, we push through, push forward, and rely on our perseverance and self-discipline to do something. So we'll take that in the opposite direction. Let your mat be the teacher today, the metaphor for life. Tighten up the circle as you go a little bit quicker, taking it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, very powerful, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And breathe in and breathe out. Awesome. We'll take the feet behind you, coming up onto the hands and knees with the cat-cow movement. Inhale, extending the heart, chest forward, and then exhale, tucking the tailbone and rounding the low back. Just take it to a full movement. Inhale through extension and exhale through flexion. Inhale, extension. Exhale, flexion. Move the heart and let the head follow. Sometimes we move the head and then the heart doesn't follow, like we get stuck in just moving the head and the low back. But if you move the heart, you're going to feel more extension. And the head follows. So my head's not doing the work. This is important. You want to keep your neck safe today and move from the heart, the solar plexus and the hip versus moving from the head. And now take it back, hips to the heels. As you exhale, inhale, come forward. You get that same extension. Exhale, hips to heels. Twice more. Exhale back. And one more time. Keep a good grip with the fingertips into the floor. So as we're on our hands and knees, appropriately place a blanket or pillow under the knees for support if you'd like to do so. Bring the foot or the leg straight behind you. And then use the toes to pulse forward and back. Energize and awaken the whole length of the leg. Inhale forward, exhale back. This class is 75 minutes. So use the time judiciously. Stay in the body with the breath. From here, a quarter circle to the side. Plant the foot into the earth and press the heels back. Inhale, moving forward, and exhale, gliding back. So the foot remains fixed on the earth. When we get a nice deeper opening through the inner thigh and awakening through the whole leg, one more time, taking the hips back and circle the foot to the back edge of your mat again where we started. Turn and kickstand the standing legs. We're in Vasisthashna or side plank. And make sure you've got the shoulder behind the wrist. So we're not directly underneath. We'll take the right hand over the head, bend at the elbow. So your hand is clasped behind the skull, and then push the head back into the hand as you reach and extend the foot into the floor. So they're going in opposite directions, right? Now, chemically, that changes the shape. It changes the shape of the muscles. We're working differently. And that's what we want. Heat it up. Tapas, self-discipline. Inhale. Bring the arm to the sky and the leg elevates to horizontal position. Exhale, back to the start position. Inhale, raise the arm and the leg. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, raise. Exhale, lower. On this one, hold the lift, bend the knee, clasp the top of the foot, press the foot into the hand. And then as if you have a hand behind the head, in remembrance of what we just did, push the head back into that invisible hand, pull the ribs in so they're knitting towards each other, and send the tailbone through the direction of the knee. We open into a bull pulling pose. Release the leg, the arm floats overhead, floor, keep your leg extended and lift hip height. Turn the left toes under and reach all the way up into a three-legged down dog, circling through the ankle on the right side. And then we'll pull the right leg all the way through to a low lunge. Exhale the hips lower. Inhale, press through the front leg to straighten it and raise the hips, pyramid. And then we'll move through those two postures. Exhale, lower. Inhale, raise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, raise, and then we'll heat it up. Let's go a little bit quicker. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, exhale, 10 of these. 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, last one. Step back, downward facing dog. Pause for breath. We'll repeat that whole sequence on the other side, bringing the knees right knee to the floor. Keep your left leg extended. And then push through the toes, press through the heel, push through the toes, press through the heel. So we get a little action, forward and back motion, a little pulsation through the body. Sweep the leg out to the side, keeping it straight. Press the hips to the heels. Inhale, forward. Exhale, hips to heels. The more you press down through the left foot and anchor it to the earth, as you go back with the hips, you're going to feel a little more sensation in the inner thigh. And that's what we're after. Really trying to get some mobility here. Through the hip, through the inner thigh, a little opening. One more time. Sweep the leg back to the back of your mat. Pivot the right foot. And then bring your heel to the earth. And the arms stretch overhead. So we're in, again, Vasisthashna or side plank. Bend at the elbow. And then increase the pressure of the head into the hand as you increase the length between your back foot and your front elbow. Left foot, left elbow. They're moving away from each other. Push the floor away. Now remember, that action of pushing the head back is what we want to see when we come into our second stage of Vasisthashna. So we'll reach the left arm up, bring the left leg hip height. Exhale, lower. Inhale, raise. Exhale, lower. Again, raising up. And lower, this time with a hold. Bend the knee, reach around. Top hand to the foot, push the foot into the hand. And press the head back into an invisible hand. Like we did before. So you get that full elixir of opening the front side, the transformative pressure of resistance, helping us open more through the clavicle, the chest, whole front body. One more breath. And then release the leg, the arm, going to come back down to the floor. The leg elevated, three-legged down dog, lift. Left leg is to the sky, rotate. That's easier on the second side, isn't it? Because we've gone through all of that opening on the right leg. Now it's just easy. So send your left leg through to a low lunge. Exhale the hips down. They're going to lower. Inhale, raise the hips as you straighten the front leg, pyramid. Exhale, lower. The helpfulness would be to have your blocks in here. If you have blocks, exhale, lower. Inhale, raise. There's just such handy props to have. Helpful. Inhale. Last time slow. Now we'll pick up the pace. Inhale, exhale 10 times. 5 more. 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Step back. Press the hands into the floor, the heels down, downward facing dog. And we've got even Steven on the right and left sides. Inhale, come into the top of a push-up. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Let's give that 2 more. Slides forward, shoulders are opening. Exhale back. Last one, gliding forward. And exhale back. And now we'll couple that with a Chaturanga Push-Up. Pause here at the top of your push-up. And then propel yourself forward. You're going to push the toes into the earth. So we're coming forward slightly. Bend the knees to the earth. Keep the hips high, bend the elbows, and lower down 1, 2, or 3 inches. Pause. And then press back up into a downward facing dog. Inhale into plank. We're going to do 5 of these. Propel yourself forward, knees to the floor, bend the elbows, lower down 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. Press back up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, glide into plank. You're going to keep going, knees to the earth, lower down. So you're bending the elbows 1, 2, or 3 inches. Don't go past 90 degrees. Pause, shoulder blades on the back, and then press back up. You want to pause at your greatest, your edge, right? Where you're almost going to fall to the floor. So pause in that space. That's where we're going to really ignite the energy in the shoulders. Let's do 2 more. From your downward facing dog, inhale, come forward. Exhale, and if you want to keep the knees off the ground for a greater challenge, you can. So we Chaturanga, elbows bend at your side. We're lowering down just halfway. Press back up, downward facing dog. 1 more time through. Inhale to the high push-up position. Exhale, lower down. Remember, the energy is moving forward, not down. You're lifting the belly, you're holding, and then you're pressing back up and pushing into a downward facing dog. You got that? Awesome. Walk your feet in to your hands. Inhale to the shin, flat back. Exhale, drop in and down. Soften the knees. Place the hands on the knees in and roll up slowly. 1 vertebra at a time. And then take a little shoulder roll. We want to make sure we have all that inks out of the shoulders so we're not building tension. We're releasing it. Inhale, bring the arms high. Hook the thumbs. Palms are forward. And just press into the earth. Get your active stance going on. So we have energy into the mat. The ball of the foot towards the heel, the ankles, inner ankles lifting, and then charge the low belly. Drop the tailbone slightly and knit the ribs in towards each other as you open the heart more. Lengthen out. Take a hold of the left wrist with your right hand. Inhale up and over. Exhale to your right side. Pause. Inhale back to center. Clasp the opposite wrist. Exhale over to the left. So I have the right wrist, a hold of it with the left hand. Inhale back to center. And let's take it 1 more time. Up and over to the right. Hold. Super strong. Inhale back to center. Up and over to the left. Active stance. Inhale back to center. Hook the thumbs up and over to the back wall without bending in the low back. Upper back bends more and is supportive. 3. Remember, the heart leads, the head follows. So it's not dropping back, it's just gazing at the sky. 1, and then back to center. Release that with the forward fold. Arms come down to your side. A lot of blood rushing back into my arms for sure here. Inhale, half lift. And then exhale, we take it down to a forward fold. Inhale all the way back up to standing. Hook the thumbs, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, arms come up. Clasp the wrist, exhale over to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the back wall. Hold. 3, 2, strong with the legs. 1. Inhale back to center. Exhale, float the arms down to your side. Swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, drop in and down. This time, soften the knees, clasp the hands around the elbows and drop down. It's like we're hanging over a bar. We're allowing the spine to release with the gravitational pull. And if that's too much on your back, bring the fingertips to the floor. If the fingertips are not touching the floor here, you really need to have some blocks and place the hands on something. Your shin or a block will do. And as much as possible, allow the head to just relax towards the floor, towards the earth, or lean over heavily. We're using gravity to support the lengthening of the back. And everybody brings the fingers to the floor. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, bring your elbows to the thighs. So we're just raising the head slightly above the hips so we don't pass out. Take a breath in and a breath out, and then push through the floor and come all the way to standing. Arms overhead, palms together, and exhale. Hands to your heart center. Let's bring the hands to the waist. Jump wide to the right side of your mat. Turn the toes out. Bend the knees and come into Tata Kanasana, or a deep goddess pose. Yeah. Elbows in, gold post here. Inhale, full extension, expansion through the chest. And exhale, bring the elbows in. Twice. Inhale, open, open. Exhale, close, close. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Through the nose, through the mouth. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go a little deeper. Hands to the inner knees. Shift the hips down. And then lean forward, hands on the thighs. Drop your shoulder in. Get a nice extension through the side body. Come back to center. Drop the opposite shoulder in. Inhale back to center. Raise, we'll cross the wrists here and then raise the arms overhead, uncross into Donurasana, and then circle the arms down again as you do so. Bend the knees and the opposite wrist is on top. So it's the inhale coming up. It's the whispering shoo on the way down with the cross. Shoo. And we'll speed it up. Shoo. 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 5 more, 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, last one. Hold tall at the top. Pull your heels out, so we're now anchored in a parallel position with the feet. Bring the fingertips together, Hakini Mudra. Hinge at the hip. Bend your knees slightly and lower to the floor in Prasarada, Padottanasana, but actually we're going to do a hinge here first. So the hips come back, the weight's in the heel, the fingers are forward, and we're counter lever. Ah, that's so awesome for the inner thighs. Inhale, move forward, turn the toes out, and then bend your right knee as you walk the hand over to the right knee. Press the elbow into the knee so we really get it to open a little bit deeper. And let's walk it over to the second side. Elbow into the knee again, opening the knee. And again, through the center, keep the heel pressing down. And I know that's a difficult thing to do, especially when we come forward and we want to relax. So there is no relaxation here. The feet are strong. We're working the inner thigh, even as they're opening. This is not a stretch. This is actually a transformation. The alchemy here is a burning like fire in the legs. So yes, they are working. They're heating to create something new. And we need that push. Let's go to the first side again. Elbow to knee. You're bringing it up slightly higher. And if you like, no elbow to knee. And we'll just take it side to side. Inhale, exhale. The toes turn up. Do what is safely available for you to do in this. I'm showing you what to work towards, maybe an ideal. And the hips lower. What's ideal for you in this moment might be hands to the knees. So you've got a little bit more support. One more time to the left. One more time to the right. And we're going to hold, drop the hand down so we're coming over into a low lunge. I'm going to switch the legs because I think your right leg is forward. Into a low lunge. Press the left hand to the floor. So now I'm on a side view. I'm going to be on the same leg that you are. Rotate open through the right arm. Now we're in a twisting low lunge. In this position, we'll rotate the right arm all the way around and then bring it forward. Inhale up, exhale back and around. Again. Now on this third time, as we bring the arm up, slide your front foot back and point the toe forward. I'm on the outer edge of my back foot, so the left outer edge of the blade of the foot. I'm in Vasisthashna, so we just transformed a low lunge into a side plank. Okay, that's just magic happened right there. Magic happened right there. Reach the right arm all the way overhead. If you want to finish this out, we could take the top foot and sandwich it to the base foot. Now we're in a full Vasisthashna, a side T or side plank pose. Shaking is good. Standard standing hand, keep that pressure into the pads of the fingers so it's very strong and stable. And then face the floor and press it back into a downward facing dog. Shift the hips side to side. And then we'll see that from the opposite angle. We bring your left leg forward, the top of the mat. We descend the hips, keep a powerful energy through the back thigh lifting up. Right hand to the mat, left arm now is going to rotate open. Take it towards the back wall. Inhale forward and up. Exhale back and down. Inhale forward. Up, exhale back and down. Now this time through, the front leg is going to slide back. Point your toes directly at a 90 degrees, so it's to the side wall. I'm on the blade of the base leg. And we're in a Vasisthashna, so stay here. Or another option would be to bring the feet together. We're going to do this a third time. So if you opt for the foot to be stationed on the floor, that's going to be helpful to keep the hips up. If you find your hips waning, and keep this leg on the floor. Whew. And then release the left hand to the floor. Tip it all the way back into a downward facing dog. Oh, nicely done. And we're ready to do some back extensions and get off of our wrists. So come forward and we'll go all the way down to a low cobra. So releasing Chaturanga style into the floor and peel the shoulders back, the head lifts up, tops of the feet down in a very low cobra. So the ribs are still touching. Hold 3, hold 2, hold 1, and then release back down to the floor. And we'll do this again. So the hands are even with the chest. So reposition your hands around. This is okay. It's Sphinx pose. Sometimes it can help you stay out of your low back. So I'm not going to discourage either position. I think what works for you is where you should be. But what I am going to do, I'm going to start with my thumbs even with the chest. And even if your hands are forward, that's fine. You're going to lift the head, neck, and shoulders in a tiny way, and then pull the belly up and into the ribs as you drop the sit bones towards your heels. So you might come a little bit higher. And then we're going to bring the arms off the ground into a jet airplane. So we're holding steady, squeeze the inner thighs, now lift the legs off the ground. And the energy is different here. You're going to push into the floor with the belly. So you tighten that corset around the midsection. And lift a little higher, holding 3. Squeeze the inner thighs, don't let your legs relax. So there's a strong energy. The whole backside of the body, the posterior chain is on fire. Transformation here, tapas, self-discipline. Exhale, release to the floor. You'd feel that fiery transformation. And then we get to rest for a moment here. We'll take that again with some variations. Okay, tuck the tailbone. Just pressing the pubic bone into the floor. We want a lot of length here. Sit bones moving towards the heels. You have the ability to express your body in different ways if we just connect. And then we're going to raise the legs, lift the torso, and sweep the arms around into a goalpost and lift the elbows above the earth. Hold the legs in this position so they're high. Inhale, lift the torso a little higher, and then exhale. Only the torso is going to touch down, your forehead touching. Inhale, raise back up. 4 of these. Exhale, lower it down. So we have 3 more. Inhale, lift up. Keep the legs high. Squeeze the inner thighs. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. I know the final one is really hard. Let's do it together. Exhale, touch down. Inhale, lift. Legs and arms all the way up. And then exhale, they come down together. And really, if we're doing this, I don't want to say every day is, but in some way, working the back body, it becomes strong and it is better able to hold us up. Posture becomes better. Seated positions become better. So that's the intention. So when the going gets tough, keep that self-discipline on, keep the perseverance going, and move through it. Okay? You want to have that fiery determination and will ourselves to get stronger. So let's bend the right knee. We're going to open the front channel a little bit more so we can do a full Donurasana. So this one is a quad stretch. You're drawing the heel in towards the glute. You could have your forehead resting on the forearm here. Tuck the tailbone. Keep the knee into the floor so we're not raising it. Really trying to open that front part of the quad from knee to hip flexor. And if that's already open, hip flexor, knee to hip flexor, all the way up to the inner hip, and then it connects to the spine. You can raise the torso and get a little more out of this stretch. Also an option to press the hand down on top of the foot. And then a gentle release. You let the leg go all the way back and shake it out, switch sides. So again, we're starting with the forehead on the forearm, laying flat, press the knee into the mat as you bend. Take a hold of the top of the foot, draw the heel in towards the glute and tuck the tailbone. You're holding steady here. If your heel touches the glute, and it's pretty easy for you to do that, you need more lengthening, then you can come up. Spin the hand, press down on the top of the foot, and open it up. Yay. So I did promise quite a bit of floor work today. This is part of our floor work. Go ahead and release that leg all the way back down. And we're ready for Donurasana. We'll take this twice. The first one, we'll clasp the hands on top of the foot, and the second one, we'll clasp the hands around the ankle. So do what you can. And we'll start with the head down, the arms at your side. We'll come into Locus pose, Shalabhasana. Bend one foot, grab the top of the foot so the toes are pointed. And if possible, grab the other foot, okay? Or you're just gonna hold one foot. Then I'm pressing the feet up to the sky. Get the legs to come off the earth quite a bit. And we might even keep the forehead on the ground. So you lift the legs higher. They want to spread a little wider, so keep the energy in the inner thighs engaged. And then release all the way back down. Oh, that's a lot of energy expenditure. So one more of those, this time with the feet flexed. You'll hold the ankle. I'm going to take 3 to 5 breaths in each one of these Donurasana. See what you can do. Clasp the hands around the ankles. And this time we're going to push the shin back and try to lift the upper torso a little higher. So as we press straight back, and the heart's dragging forward, melting forward. Push the thighs down into the floor, shins back, and hold 3. We get a strong connection of trying to earth the thighs instead of lifting them off. They're pressing back, and we're lifting the torso higher. 2. One more breath. And 1, release all the way to the floor. Release the legs. Hands to the chest, and we'll reverse the push-up. Coming onto hands and knees. Walk your hands forward. Bring the forehead to the floor. Anahatasana, or heart melt. Pose the hips above the knees. And just allow yourself to rest here. Taking full deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can gently walk your hands back. I'm going to lift the forehead just slightly off the floor so you can come into child's pose. Press the hips all the way back down to the heels. And then rest your forehead on the floor, replace it back on the floor. We'll take some full deep breaths so we ignite the powerful adrenals here, breathing into the kidney area. Recharge the battery. Take 2 more deep, long breaths. Gently and slowly walk your hands one at a time. So we upright the torso and you're sitting back on your heels, Vasisthashna style, thunderbolt. Bring the knuckles crossing together, interlacing the fingers, thumbs up, and again, Vajrapradama. We're in unshakable trust mudra. You got this. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're doing super well, getting through all of the poses today. In record time, we'll have a really nice, longer Shavasana at the end. And bring your hands forward again in the hands and knees position. We're going to revisit Vasisthashna, and I'm going to take you through the 3 postures that we have used as progressions to get into that pose. And each progression puts more strengthening potential into the arm. So when you reach your potential and you feel the arm shaking, that's where you want to stay. So from hands and knees, we'll take the right leg and extend it out. Kickstand the left leg, and then we'll open to the side wall. And in this position, we're stacking hip on hip, shoulder on shoulder, and the arm extends, the foot's on the floor. This is progression, a progression. Then the second way we did this was stepping the right foot forward. We're coming into this a little bit differently, but the toes are still facing the front of the room. And you're going to push the floor away. Let's take your right hand to the thigh. Press down on the thigh, press down into the earth, push the earth away to lift the back knee and possibly lift the back foot. And then gently bring it back down. So your hand and your knee are pressing into the floor and strengthening. You're engaging all the muscle, including your core, in order to lift the back leg. Now on this third one, we're going to extend the leg all the way back. So we come up, shoot the leg, so the foot lands on the blade. We land on the blade of the outer blade of the foot. And now again, hip stacks on hip, shoulder on shoulder. We're not facing the floor here. There's a strong push into the right leg and open into side body, side plank, Vasisthashna. Full version is to bring the top leg now and place it in the same space as the left leg or the bottom leg, so on top of the bottom leg. And now we're in our full Vasisthashna. Maybe your standing arm is shaking right now. That's possible, and that's great. It just means it's working. Bring both hands to the floor and step back in whatever capacity you're in, whichever level you chose to stay at, whichever progression. Then we're taking everybody together in a downward facing dog. And we'll see how that works on the second side. So the knees come to the floor, extend your left leg out, kickstand open, stacking shoulder on shoulder, hip on hip, and we're inside plank. This is level or stage 1, progression 1. Another progression. The back foot comes in, faces the direction your face is facing, so the toes are pointing straight forward. Inhale here. Let's take the top arm and place it on the left thigh. That's going to give you some support. Push straight down into the earth, and we're engaging all the muscle. If you're not pushing away or tightening the quad, you're going to sink into the earth. With that pressure, igniting all of the muscles, powerfully transforming them into something stronger, lift the back leg. So you lift the right leg, then we're going to shoot it to the back edge of your mat on the blade of the foot. Please don't be on your ankle, not sickling. Very open and strong, stacking shoulder on shoulder, hip on hip, and we're in another side plank version. And then if you want to progress into the full version, and there's other versions besides this, but we can stack foot on foot and hold that plank, side plank, where the body is fully invested, integrated. We're using our core, we're using the strength of the arm, breathing fully, and then square the shoulders to the floor. You did it. Step all the way back. Downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Excellent job. One more breath in. We'll take the feet to or through your arms, coming to a seated position. High onto the balls of the feet if you want to jump through. And take the legs all the way through and come to seated. Let's make a fist. Inhale, exhale, open and release. Inhale, make a fist. Exhale, release. You want to reset the wrist. Exhale. A little bit faster. Inhale, exhale. And then shake it out. Bend the knees, take the hands on top of the knees and lean back so that your elbows are pretty straight. We're going to lift the sternum. So the edge, the alignment here is such that we're supporting this with our belly. And the hands are on the shin because we're going to make this a kriya. So we're going to breathe into the belly, short pulse of the belly or pumping of the belly. So it looks like this. Okay, 54 of those. So you can practice for a moment. Keep the heels down. Keep the hands on the knees for supports. We don't want this in your low back. Okay. Inhale. 54 and begin. 10. 20. 30. 40. 50. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale all the air out. Inhale. Pull the chest up towards the knees. Bring your feet in. Wrap the elbows around the knees. Lift tall through the spine. And then exhale, drop the forehead towards your knees. And hold. Breathing in, breathing out. And then lift the torso. We're going to take this back onto your elbows. Your elbows are directly underneath the shoulder. The hands are slightly off the mat. So you have some support here. Push the forearms down into the floor so you can get that lift through the chest high and the sternum. Come up onto the toes, pull the knees in. Now, balancing here requires abdominal strength. You're going to draw the abs in and towards the navel in, towards the back body as you lift the chest up. Make sure you're out of your low back. And if you would like, extend the legs overhead. And then bring the legs forward until you feel your edge in your abs. And you'll know you're past your edge or beyond it when your low back starts to feel it's starting to tense up. You don't want to be in your low back. We're here for about 20 breaths, maybe not, 15. So 5 in the center, and we'll go 5 to the left and 5 to the right. That's already 5 breaths. So we're going to sweep the legs over to the left. You're hovering or balancing on the left buttock, and the right arm can extend out if you like. It doesn't have to. Don't give up in this pose, just take it down a step. So you could place a foot on the floor. That takes the angst out of the low back, and you can stay right here, holding. It's still strengthening the same muscles. Pull the knee towards your forehead in a V-snap energy, and then bring it back to center. And for those of you who want more out of this, just lower the feet more. And we'll take it over to the right. You're hovering on the right buttock, and then extend the left arm out, or keeping the elbow on the ground, and or bending the bottom foot so you've got support here. You could bend both knees. Okay, you still are feeling it in your abs. There's no reason to be in this position if all the angst is in your low back and your belly has given out. Now, one more breath, one more breath, one more breath. And bring it back to center. One more breath here. And bring the knees in. And let your feet come to the floor and lower all the way to the earth. And we get to now be supine. Yes. Hook the thumb, reach the arms overhead. A full deep breath in, a full deep breath out. Excellent, excellent. So bring the arms back down to your side. And with your hand, you're just going to tap the hip. Find your iliac psoas, your iliac crest. This is the bony protrusion of the hip that's forward most. And just give it a tap. This is the bone that we want to lift and lower. So we're going to do some pelvic tilting. So as we raise the low back away from the mat, this is an anterior tilt. The hips stay down and the iliac bone lifts up the ilium. Then we're going to press that bone into the floor using the abdominal contraction. So now there's no space between me and my mat. And then release it, float the low back off the mat. There should be a lot of space between the mat and your low back, or more, at least more space. And then contract and pull the belly into the floor. Let's do that a couple more times. Pelvic tilt, inhale and exhale. With the palm of the hand, you press into the crease of the hip. Inhale, push into the femur bone, and then exhale, release the resistance and draw the navel to the spine. Let's try that again. Inhale, press, and exhale, release. Inhale, press, exhale, release. It just feels good. We're elongating the spine, releasing the low back from all the back bends we did. Exhale, release. Beautiful job. One more time. Excellent. Let's hook the thumbs. Bring the arms overhead one more time. A full breath in. Exhale. Drop the navel to the earth and lift the hips. We're going to press through the feet. Arms are overhead. Unhook the thumbs and pretend you're grabbing a tricky bar. Do you remember when you were a kid and you would hang on the tricky bar? You'd hold on to it and then you'd lift your feet up. So the gravity would, in essence, help you grow longer. And as kids, we always wanted to be longer. I mean, not everybody, right? So you're going to pretend you're holding on to the tricky bar and then letting gravity pull the hips forward to your heels. And you've got to create that sensation yourself. And then lower the hips back down to the earth. So now we've got that lengthened side body. Release the tricky bar and then bring the arms down to your side as well. Keeping the palms to the mat. Inhale, lift the hips. Bring these shoulder blades underneath you. And the back of the head's pushing into the floor. So we've got some stability here. Holding. On your next inhale, reach the arms overhead. Take a hold of the tricky bar. Hold yourself there and lower the hips towards the heels. You lengthen, and drag the hips forward as if gravity is pulling us sideways. Like we're upright hanging on a bar, and then lower the arms down to your side. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift the hips. Raise the arms overhead. Take a hold of the tricky bar. Exhale, lower the hips. Release the bar and lower the arms. Palms to the floor. Inhale, lift the hips. We'll do this again. Inhale the arms overhead. Take a hold of your invisible tricky bar. Exhale, lower and lengthen. And then release the bar and lower the arms to the earth. Pause here. Very nice. Let's draw the right knee into the chest, the left knee. Exhale all the air out. Keeping the right knee close to you. Extend the left leg all the way down. So the thigh is pressing down. The heel is pressing forward. And we'll just take a hold of the top of the knee and gently guide it in towards the shoulder. And our catalyst for change is being with the breath. And nothing happens in the billows of the fiery furnace without air. So air can be the igniter, so to speak, the igniter of passion, to stoke the fire, so to speak. Place the hands behind the base of the hamstring as you extend the leg upward. And then push the heel forward like you're trying to bring the leg down, but your hands are holding it up. And they're pressing against that energy. So you're creating your own resistance here. Release the resistance. And walk the hands more towards the knee. So you're still holding the hamstring. Create that resistance again, pushing forward. And then release. If you'd like, take the hands to the calf. You don't have to. The hands could stay wrapped around the hamstring. Push forward. Now we get that resistance. And then exhale, release the resistance. Allow the leg to come up towards the forehead. Bend the elbows, lift the torso. The forehead comes to the shin. Your bottom leg may serve you better if it's bent. So just check that out. See what works the best for you. Release the torso down to the earth. With your base leg still bent, we're going to open the right leg to the side wall. At a diagonal, it's not straight to the side. It's actually lifting up and reaching to the corner of the room versus the side of the room. Tilt the toes down, the heel up. And again, if it's more serving, bend your bottom leg. Like there is no need to keep that leg straight if you're in angst about it, right? The transformation's not happening if you're not breathing. So unlock the jaw. Let's bring the right leg, cross the ankle over the thigh, draw the knee in. Sukhi Donurasana. Yes, yes, yes to this opening of the hip. Feet stay active. And really just enjoy the release that you might be feeling in your right hip. Any variation. Breathe in, breathe out. You're going to keep the ankle crossed, but release the leg. And then step your left foot just slightly to the right so we can drop the knees over to the left side. Easy spinal twist. Now your right hand can remain out. The shoulders are flush to the floor. If you can or would like to try, I'm going to sweep the right hand to reach the left toes. I'm going to give a connection there, and then I can draw the foot up in towards the glute. And at the same time, I'm going to extend the top leg out to the side. And I have a wall here, which is super handy. And now I can push the wall. I don't have to envision one. I can simply push the foot into the wall. If you don't have a wall right here, pretend that you're pushing the leg into a wall to push the wall away. That will straighten the leg even more and give you probably some more burning sensation. The tapas, remember the discipline to stay here and breathe. That is our number one objective, to stay here in the challenge and breathe until you can push through it, right? It's like that little seedling underground. It has to keep pushing and pressing up until the soil is removed and it can actually pop its head out of the ground and feel the sunlight and feel the energy of the other little seedlings doing the same thing. Raise the whole vibration and manifest our intentions. They come into matter. So they aren't just in incubation all the time. All right, let's bring the leg all the way back. Release the foot. Square the hips. Knees into the chest. Release the spine. Rock side. Hold the right knee as you extend the left leg. In this first posture, the leg's all the way straight. So we can open up the hip flexor a little bit, the front body, the knee comes up to the shoulder. Now, as you extend the leg, the hamstrings here might be cooperative and they might not. So that might be a bend in the bottom leg, and then you stay here. Clasp the hands around the base of the hamstring and press forward. There's no right or wrong, there's just progressions. So you're doing where you're at your comfortable edge. Slide the hands up more towards the knee, press forward again. You can stay here, or if it's possible, hand to the calf and I'm pressing forward. It's important that I'm not lifting up yet, okay? Get that pressure, leg is straight, heel to the sky, and then release the pressure. Bring the leg all the way up in towards the forehead, and bend the elbows and draw the forehead towards the shin. I'm definitely going deeper on this side because my bottom leg is bent. So it's a little easier for me to lift the forehead to the shin. And then release back down. Take your right leg now out to the diagonal. Did we do this side? We so did this side already. We should be the left knee in. I hope you guys switched. I didn't. We're going to take the forehead to the shin and then out to the side. Yeah. Okay, my bad. I was like, wow, this is so much easier on this side. Yeah, because we're doing it twice. So the left leg now is extended, or whatever leg you didn't do before. Bend the bottom knee if it's not already bent. Cross the ankle over the thigh. Draw the knee in. Thread the needle here, or eye of the needle. Take your arm through the eye of the needle. Draw the knee towards you. And we're getting right into the left hip stretch. Again, the breath work is the stoking the fire. It's the transformative elixir, igniter, propellant. As you release the back of the leg, your foot is just slightly to the left. We can drop the knees over to the right and get that full release in the low back. Some friends might even want to bring a block underneath the knee here. If your low back is like hanging here, bring a block to support so the low back can really relax, open. And if you do not have a block and your feet are on the ground, pull your right foot in and reach down with the left hand to catch the foot. We call this a ninja twist. And the top leg comes straight out and extends forward. It can or it doesn't have to, okay? I'm just showing you possibilities. I'm showing you a deeper opening through the side body. Your body may or may not be ready for the full extension. That's okay. Let's drop back in. Square the hips. Bring the feet to the sky. Happy baby. Any version of your choice. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together and take a diamond shape. This feels super yummy. 5 breaths. Any version or inversion of your choice. I'm just really like the Tata Kanasana situation here. When you're ready, take the legs all the way to the earth and slide the heels to the side pocket of your mat. Your arms open, palms relaxed. Take a deep breath in and then let all the air out. That was a lot of good floor work today. We got it in. Beautiful job. A lot of energy in the arms. And the heat can be applied. It doesn't have to be something that I think creating malleability and creating heat in the body doesn't necessarily have to be in a hot room or a hot yoga or a flow. We can do this with the breath and staying in the breath and staying in a posture for a longer time and revisiting it. So we did the side plank like 3 times. We did our back bends, quite a few of those. So our body starts to change as we find new muscle and we find the breath igniting the muscle, infusing energy, and getting us ready for the next and the next and the next pose. And then we get to integrate all of the postures, all of the wisdom, all of the experience, integrate it in our Shavasana, in a resting state, and contemplate what we learned. When we contemplate the learning, And then we get our ahas. That's the wisdom. That's the embodiment of the practice. We do want to create that restful state, meditative state, peaceful, bliss, shavasana. And we're here for a good 5 minutes. Already been here for 2, probably 3 more. Halfway. Make a greater effort to release and relax fully, completely into the earth. Let the whole body be still. Quiet the mind. Release tension from the head to the toes, toes to the head, and find an anchor point. This last few minutes. Anchor can be a physical sensation in the body, such as anchoring your attention to the palm of the hand or touching the thumb and finger together. Or it can be an anchor in your mind's eye where you anchor yourself in the form of something like a tree. Or you're anchored on a rock. Or anchored in the grass. Whatever feels sustaining, supportive to you. Release more fully and completely. Keep your awareness on your anchor. 30 more seconds. Lengthen your in-breath. If you'd like, stretch the arms overhead. Take deeper breaths, moving into the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. When you're ready, pull the knees in, wrap your arms around you, roll to the side. Pause and give yourself an acknowledgement. Acknowledgement of gratitude. With your top arm, then help yourself up gently to a seated position. We'll reignite interlacing the fingers, Vajra Pradama, unshakable trust mudra. Where do you already see the unshakable trust that's present in your life? And how you show up. Acknowledge yourself. Where do you see the need for this powerful, unshakable trust to unfold more fully and be present in your life? Have the determination, the stamina, the perseverance to try. Again, when we fall down, pick yourself back up. Try again. Mistakes are for teaching. The lessons are there. Never be present to their ever imploring wisdom. Bring the palms together at your heart center. Breathe in and breathe out. And may we be ever present to each step we take along the journey. That we do so with love and joy, peace in our hearts. Thank you so much for participating. Namaste. Deep gratitude and blessings to you on our live Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. And deep appreciation for those joining us on YouTube.